I've always wanted to make stone handles on my knives. It's finally time to make that happen. So in this video, we're gonna head to Tucson, Arizona and pick out a bunch of really fancy rocks. To start this trip out, we had about a 3-hour flight from Springfield to Mesa, Arizona, which is right next to Phoenix. On the first half of the flight, there was nothing to see because there was extreme fog. But on the second half, you could actually see the landscape, and it was really beautiful from the plane.
Let's go get food. Guess what we're gonna eat? Macon.
We landed in Mesa, and it's time to pick up our rental car. Immediately, we're fascinated by all the cool plants. This is so different than Missouri.
My speedometer thingy came up.
It says I'm going 35.
I'm just letting you know, my mouth thingy went to 35.
After getting the rental car, you know the first stop has to be some good Mexican food. It was delicious. They had this red sauce that was super flavorful and delicious on pretty much everything.
Mom, how you doing so far?
Well, I'm full and you're eating again.
Kyle, round 2, you ready?
Ready. After eating, we drive about 2.5 hours to Tucson and get set up in our hotel that's going to be home for the next couple days.
This is really smart, bringing on the canned water. I love this stuff. It's going to be so much easier to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
The next day.
This is the very first thing we see at the first show that we go to in Tucson, and I am so excited right now. There's just pallets and piles and tables of beautiful rocks and minerals and gems.
Smells like fried donuts.
I'm referring to this as the Tuscon Gem and Mineral show, but to be fair, it's actually a bunch of tiny shows that each have their own name, and there are dozens and dozens of them all over Tucson during this time period. The first one that we're at here is called the Kino Show. As we were driving to this Kino Show, we must have driven past 4 or 5 other shows on our way here. You might wonder how I knew which shows to go to. Well, for that, I had great help. My friends Chris and Liz Costa sat down with me and pointed out which exact shows I should go to. I'm so grateful for their help because I would have been completely lost as to which shows to go to without them. Being gem and mineral shows, that's mostly what we found, but there were also quite a few tents that had all sorts of random things. Anything from welded sheet metal horses, to mammoth ivory, to knives, to guns, to singing bowls, to leather crafts, just anything you could think of, you would actually find at one of these shows. There were so many amazing stone fountains and lights and tables, chairs, and displays of all sorts. During our 3 days, this was one of the largest geodes we saw. This thing was like 8 or 10 feet tall, and they made a dragon head and put on it with a big old dragon tail for people to take pictures next to. The geode kind of looked like some kind of body or wings for the dragon or something. It was super cool. The stone statue had a lot of detail in the carving. Speaking of white marble, that was one type of stone that I wanted to find that I never did during our 3 days there. I may have missed it just because there was an overwhelming amount of stones to look through, but that was something that I want to find in the future for knife handles possibly. There were lots of small tents outside that were like 15 foot square, but there were also a couple of these really big tents with like hundreds of tables set up in them with lots of things to look through. We just finished up our first day at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show, and we scored some beautiful, beautiful rocks here. Starting out, I was looking very desperately for some lapis lazuli. I wanted something that had a really, really wide band of blue in it
and this piece is absolutely gorgeous. Had to pay an arm and a leg for it, but I haven't seen anything like this, and we must have seen a couple thousand pieces of lapis today. Look how wide this blue section is. Most lapis, when you look at it, has a lot of these like calcium white streaks or really gray streaks running all through it in thin sections of blue. This has nice, big, thick sections of blue, so it's gonna make a gorgeous, like solid handle where you'll see nice, pretty blue stuff on the top and bottom of the handle too, instead of really big stripes. I was also able to get this beautiful piece of lapis here. This one has a lot more of pyrite in it and some little white specks. I love the way this one looks. The next piece I've got here is a beautiful piece of jade that comes from British Columbia. It is amazing. If you wipe a little water on it, you can kind of get a feel for how it'll look when it's polished, because right now this isn't polished. It's got all this deep swirly green color in it. It is so cool. Next up, we've got this piece of Cambamba jasper. You can see some really cool dark blackish coloring all surrounding all these little greenish areas. I love the way this looks. This Cambamba jasper is from Madagascar, which I thought was really cool too. Last but not least, we have a giant block of charolite. I love the way this looks. I don't know if it's gonna work out properly for a handle or not. I just hope and dream that it will. But it's got gorgeous swirly purpley colors. Right now, one of my favorite colors is purple. I did a purple handled knife not too long ago that I loved. It was a dyed wood handle. It was purple. I have no idea exactly what tomorrow's gonna look like. From what I understand, the show that we're gonna go to tomorrow is at a hotel or a motel, and people will literally have their beds thrown to the side and like tables in their hotel rooms or something with all sorts of different cool things laid out to purchase.
Day 2.
Okay, I'm getting distracted immediately. After the first day, I realized it's very easy to get distracted by all the pretty things everywhere, and I need to stay laser focused, looking for rocks and gems and minerals that will work for handle material. And immediately after saying that, take a look at these birds. They were incredible. More tables of lapis lazuli. I still felt the need to look through the tables of lapis just in case there was another hidden gem in there, but I'm already very happy with the piece I bought yesterday. Take a look at this beautiful piece of labradorite we found. It looks like it's glowing from the inside when you look at it on the right angle. The show we're at on day 2 is a little bit different because it's kind of based around a motel. Just about every ground floor hotel room has a vendor set up in it. It was a really strange experience walking through this hotel, looking into people's rooms, going into ones that look like they had something interesting that might make good handle material. Josh, look at this.
Ja. Hemsius on PD dove $1 di mina para con circa che un
Look at the back. I think there's a lot going on the sides too, maybe. The labradorite in the hotel room we were just in was the best I saw the entire time we were in Tucson. We ended up getting that first piece that I looked at. As we're walking down through the hotel, we're looking for any rooms that might have handle material sized things. There were a couple of rooms that had a vendor out in the hallway asking and almost begging you to come into their room and look at their stuff.
Until I see something that's even better. Or I'll be like, oh, that was medium grade.
We found some folks that had some incredible meteorite. They had so much of it. We took their business card for the future just in case I ever want to do a project with meteorite. They could probably hook us up.
part for that.
Gotcha.
Not gonna work in there, okay.
Yeah. Thank you though.
Thank you.
And then it's not a good created by something bigger than the size.
Taking
Yeah.
some video.
Well, if you need to move the glass, you can just move it.
Oh, no.
Who makes the buoys?
Bo Ricardo made that.
He's not here.
Oh, no, huh?
Yes. Good.
All right.
Very good.
Check out these tables full of massive rubies surrounded by stone. They really look like watermelon with the red interior and kind of green around the outside.
We just finished up day 2 of the Gem and Mineral show. Saw a bunch of really cool things. It didn't have as much stuff that was what I was looking for though, but we did get a couple of cool things from that show. I saw these really cool obsidian carvings at a couple different places. And I'd seen these little pieces of obsidian here and there, so I wanted to pick up a couple of these just in case I wanted to try making a handle out of obsidian, because it carves up and I think it can look really cool. This is basically nature's glass. I got 3 different pieces of obsidian, all from that same place. So this one's just a black obsidian, and then this one here was a mahogany obsidian. And this one's really cool because it's got all these like black spots with this mahogany brown in between. I just love the way that looks. From another vendor at the same show, we got something else pretty special right here. I got 2 pieces of jade. This jade comes from a mine in Guatemala. This piece is a greenish tint to it, and this one's more of a black jade, and I think they are really cool. These pieces, when you get them wet, and we saw polished versions of these, when they're polished, they look absolutely gorgeous and have some really cool colors and patterning on them. Now I have 3 more pieces of jade sitting here on the table, but these were from the first show that we went to yesterday. We met a guy named Bob, who is a jade enthusiast and expert, and he was such a pleasure to talk to, and he had some beautiful pieces yesterday that I was literally dreaming about last night. I picked up like every single piece multiple times, was looking at them, shining a flashlight in them and stuff. They all have different amounts of light that can go through the stone. Some of the really dark ones don't let the light go very far, and some of the more opaque ones, they just all are a little bit different. So we're sitting there with a flashlight, getting them wet with mineral oil and stuff. We got 3 beautiful, beautiful pieces. We've got a large piece of Wyoming jade here. This one is a sage color, and it has a really cool subtle pattern. You can barely see it right now, but I think when it's polished up, it is gonna be drop dead gorgeous. And this one's kind of a deep greenish color. And then I've got an absolutely massive piece of, again, kind of sage colored jade here. This one has a bigger pattern. It's a little bit easier to see. Now this piece here has a really cool story behind it. This is a beautiful piece of labradorite, and it has absolutely amazing colors on it, but not only on the front, also on the back. Drop dead, gorgeous patterns in this like stripe configuration. This labradorite is from Madagascar, from a guy who picks through and finds the really nice special pieces to resell. This show we picked to go to this second day, a big portion of the show was actually in a hotel, or more of a motel really. So you have this motel that has room access on the inside, but it's just a long hallway, and people would have their rooms open, their doors open, and you could go in and they'd have a little sign out by the door that would say what kind of stones and precious gems and minerals and stuff they had. And you could go in there and they would just have the bed over in one corner, and then all over they'd have tables and displays and stuff just showing their wares. And that's where we found this, right when we started looking around in the inside the hotel. But this was actually in the hotel room, which is kind of strange, going into somebody's room and buying such a cool piece from him. This guy had the best labradorite out of 1,000 other pieces that I saw, and there was a couple other pieces that were gorgeous as well, but this was the best suited for a knife handle because of its size. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day because we've picked out another third show to go to. So I'm hoping we can maybe not spend quite as much time at that one, go through it quick, look for handle material type stuff. I hope we can pick up some cool pieces. We also have to cut it short because we have to ship all of the stone that we've purchased home because we're taking a plane home. We gotta get it to UPS or FedEx or something, get all this stuff packaged and shipped off, get our other hotel for the night, and then fly home the next day. So it's gonna be a busy, cram-packed day tomorrow.
Day 3.
Day 3, we're starting off with a really big tent. Since we're surrounded by rock, Mom and I decided to do day 3 dressed as cavemen. During our 3 days in Tucson, this vendor had one of the most incredible displays. They had petrified wood. The colors, texture, and variety on the petrified wood was absolutely amazing. There were so many deep, rich, swirling blacks and browns, and so much variety. Every single piece looked so different than the next. Look at this amazing petrified wood table. I was blown away and would love to have something like this in my living room someday.
I'm taking a video for Daddy-O. Look at you, aren't you so pretty? She's making her salsa. Isn't that yummy? Table side salsa and table side guac. Yummy. Yummy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you download it?
I'm trying to go to the website.
Oh, I downloaded.
Wow, it is the end of day 3. We went rock shopping all day today. I am exhausted. So the first thing we got here is a piece of dendritic agate, or at least I believe it is. And then we went ahead and got a couple of pieces of quartz. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to work with this quartz or if it's just gonna be too flaky or chippy or brittle or what, but I thought it would be really cool if I could at least buy a couple pieces and play around with them. And this one was very clear. It didn't have too many impurities or anything in it, and I love the look of this. And if it would work for a handle, I think it would be super cool to have a really decorative tang going through the center of it, a hidden tang on the inside of the quartz, going down through the center, and you'd be able to see it inside the quartz handle. And to top it all off, we went back to the first Gem and Mineral show that we went to on the first day, and we went back to again yesterday. Well, there was one piece I couldn't get out of my mind. It was crazy expensive for one knife handle, but I couldn't get it out of my mind, and I want to save it for something really special. Something that maybe will be like the handle that inspired me to even want to do stone in the first place. So the piece of stone is this right here. This is a piece of Edwards Black jade. This is no longer being mined, and it is super expensive and super rare. It is jet black and has almost no impurities or anything in it. It's gonna be an incredible handle. I've got one more thing here that's not a stone or gem or mineral, and that is a book. As I go through the process of doing stone handles and learning different things, and as we go, I want to be able to share what I learn, so I want to be able to learn more about it. So we got this book right here. This is all about jade, because jade was the thing that impressed me most at this show, and I'm super excited to learn more. This thing is massive. It's like 1.5 inches thick, humongous. We're gonna try to get all this stuff packed up. Our plane leaves super early, so we gotta get up really, really early in the morning, take back the rental car, get our overweight bag checked in and everything else, and then hopefully get on the plane for like a 3-hour flight back home.
Day 4.
Last night, we were able to pack up everything we bought and divide the weight between our 2 checked-in bags. We're gonna pay for one bag to be overweight. You're allowed up to 100 pounds. I think it came in at like 98 pounds. And then the other bag, we loaded up to its maximum of 40 pounds. Now we just have our 3-hour flight between us and home. Josh and I both wanted a window seat, so I got it on the way there, and Josh got it on the way back. Poor Mom was stuck in the middle both ways. Mom Josh and I made it home safely from the Tucson Gem and Mineral show, and here is all of our loot, all in one place together. I have so many amazing things here to work with. I cannot wait to get into these and make some stone and or obsidian handles. I want to tell you what originally inspired me to want to work with stone and use it on my high-end art pieces. I think it'll just elevate what I'm doing completely. This right here is a book with a bunch of really cool pieces in it, but when I originally saw this little dagger right here, I saw it many, many years ago on blade forums, and when I first saw this handle and found out that the handle was made out of stone, my mind was blown, and from that day on, I have wanted to work with stone and use it on really cool daggers and high-end buoys and stuff. This stone handle here, I believe is some kind of black marble from England, and it's actually got flutes and carving in it. But on top of each flute, there's a bunch of little flowers, and in the middle of each one of those flowers is a little tiny dot of gold. When I first saw that handle, I thought it was wood or something very nicely polished. When I found out it was stone, I just couldn't believe it, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. This Edwards Black Jade, the most expensive piece I got at the show, I'm gonna save this for something very special. That Buster Warinsky dagger that I just showed you, that is what I want to save this for, something similar to that, where I'm actually doing carving in the stone. I think it would be the perfect medium for it. I think one of the hardest things is gonna be picking which one of these things I start with on my first knife. That was my first Tucson Gem and Mineral Show experience. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. I can't wait to see where it goes. I might end up absolutely loving working with stone, or it might be kind of a dud and not be my thing. Who knows, but it's definitely gonna be a fun learning experience along the way, like it has been so far, just getting these pieces. I will see you in the next video. May the forge be with you. Bye-bye.
If you want to see me use one of these stones for a dagger handle, then click right here for the Serenity Dagger build. I've been wanting to make a stone handle for over 12 years, and this will be my first one.